Hey guys, welcome back to another brand new book reading episode of Blood Fusion. So technically we're at the 6th chapter, so 6 to 9. So 6 to chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8, and all the way to chapter 9. We'll stop at chapter 9. So right now we're at chapter 6. The 3 missions. As the truck stopped, we got out of it, and we ran to the alley where Jiraki told us where we'd be to find them. It was only me, Haley, Gerald, Jessica, and Dishon. The rest of the group stayed at the facility. Where we were at just this morning. Then we heard people we hid under the dumpster. Then Haley whispered, "What are they saying?" Then I said, "I'll check then." I whispered in my voice. "Call them more for the silver Romanian wolf." I took off the clothing that Jiraki gave me, showing my super morphing suit. Claws came in, teeth grew sharp, ears went out, and the tail grew. My eyes were turned yellowish, gold. My body became strong, then silver fur appeared in my hands. Turned to paws and feet went to canine spine, and canine legs. Then last but not least, my muzzle, and my transformation was complete. My ears heard everything. One man said, "When are those freaks gonna get here? I want their meat now," he asked. "Calm down. They'll come when they do. We'll kill the rest of them. We'll take Karuba first. To your brother, that he paid us to for the wound a little bit." Oh my God. They're trying to kill us. They're going to kill us and they're going to take me to my brother, if I'm wounded. Then the rest of my friends morphed quickly into their wolves. Haley growled and said in telepathy, "Well, we'll take him on, Karu. You kill the leader, who was paid and must have no witnesses," Haley said. Then I said, "Haley, are you crazy? They'll kill us." "Not if we scare them all. They won't mess with us anymore." Then Haley said, "Oh, fine, jeez. I wonder why they recognized our wolves anyway," she said. Then we walked out in a position to attack. Then we attacked them. I killed the leader, and the rest hunters ran off, and we reverted back to ourselves, into our human forms. We radioed back to headquarters, and said, "All the hunters are gone. They won't mess with us anymore," I said. Then Jiraki said, "Good, come back to the lab. Bring those clothes back in one piece, too." Then we got dressed in our modern clothing, hiding our suits underneath them. Without ripping them, we got back in the truck. Haley started it and left the rest of us. Rest of us in the back. We were welcomed back by the lab, and we said, "Is there any more missions?" I asked. Then Jiraki said, "Apparently yes. A man named Laval Cole on an island that has a giant horse colossus thing in his backyard. You need like a special capsule to capture it. Here, I made this. It's a horse ball. Made for a giant thing like that." "Okay, this is crazy, but trust me. I know what you're thinking. It is kind of weird, a horse ball shaped like a freaking Pokeball from Pokemon with a purple with a horse head on it. And anyways, back to the story. We were getting our tickets to get the ferry that's supposed to take you there. Then I said, "Jessica, Isabella, you stay here or go guard the facility," I said as we walked out of the facility. Then Jiraki and Jessica were not noticing. 2 super soldiers that were the Quentin squad walked in and grabbed Isabella and walked out. Meanwhile, at the docks, me and the others were getting on the boat, started and left. We made it 20 miles out to sea. Before a wave came and almost wiped us out. It was cold, cold water to the touch. Haley was soaking wet. "Gah!" she said, shivering. How many more miles?" she said, shivering with her hair wet. 6 more miles, right before they'll hit the docks," I said, as I went to set a blanket downstairs. But we was only one of the warm blankets. I gave her, saying, "Here, sit down. You might catch a cold." Then she said, "I think I already have one." Achoo! Then she started to sneeze. Then we crash landed on the island. This man stood by the docks, where we landed anyway. Gray-bearded, blue-eyed sailor, retired-looking man that I ever saw like a man. Looked like my dad. But he had blue eyes, and my dad had brown. "Thank you for coming all this way without short notice," he said. With some kind of accent, actually. Then I said, "No problem." I looked up and saw a giant thing in the backyard. "Whoa," Haley said. "Come, it's sleeping. Be quiet." Laval said, walking slowly. We walked behind him, and we used this gigantic horse ball thing on the gigantic horse. In the 3 seconds of it was in there, it was completely in there for good. "Phew," Laval said. "Here's your reward," he said. He gave us $2,500 bills, which is like $1 million right there. "Thanks," I said excitedly. I radioed back to Rocky and said, "We caught the horse thing." But that all we heard of was white noise. We ran to the boat. Saw it was a little bit wrecked, but it'll help us get back. We ran to the box. We got back to New York docks. Then Jessica came running and said, "There's a huge wolf left. My beast out of control," she said in a worried voice. "Come on, let's hurry," I ordered. "Right," the others said firmly, nodding their heads, and we ran back to the lab, opening the door of the injection room. Where Jessica was leading us to it, we saw the same thing that George was turned into. But the eyes were like they were hypnotized. Then Jiraki injected some fiery red ooze into it and made it transform back. It changed back to our surprise. It was Isabella. She was breathing heavily. "Oh, God," Jessica said with her hand over her mouth. "What happened to you?" Haley asked. Then Isabella said, I got taken by your brother, Carberu. He injected me with some of this red ooze and used a hypnotization ray on me. I was out of control, but then the scientists found me and they brought me back here. All I can remember your brother is saying he's going to rule the world with this purple ooze bomb called the mind-controlled TFHWE effect. My eyes widened and said, "Just as what I feared. If there's things possible. If that bomb goes off, everyone in the world will be in his control. And in worse only cases, what George turned into." "Will that be the exact same creature?" I said, running, as Haley stopped me. I was crying, and she hugged me. Tears were coming down my eyes, really hard. "Shh," she shushed me, in a whisper kind of way. "It's okay," Haley said, then letting go of me and putting her hands on my shoulder. "In my power, I will promise you that we'll stop him and destroy the whole world. We have to train for Kung Fu anyway. Your cousin Zakharov is on his plane to catch." Then I shot up to my knees and said, "Let's go. We need that training anyway," I said. "Oh," I chuckled. "Did you know that the Royans can heal themselves?" I asked. "No," he said. "Well," I said, "since you're an Royan." Then I stopped in my tracks and everyone looked at Haley and me. "What? She's an Royan?" they said in shock. "Yeah, what's wrong with that?" Haley asked. "Well, your sisters must be one too," Jessica said. "Wait, you have a sister?" I said, pausing a little bit. "Yeah," Haley said. "But she's like way older, like 28 or so forth." "Yeah, we'll just have to see what she is. Well, come on, we had 20 minutes before the flight goes to Japan and leaves us in New York for a reason." Meanwhile, in the Quentin Squad's lair, Abby and Leon were intermingling. And then they slept. And then Abby rushed to the bathroom. And they started throwing up. Leon got dressed and were worried about her. He said something in her. Something magical. "You're pregnant," he said. "What else is going to be worse? My eyes are red. I'm pregnant." Abby yelled and cried. Then Leon lifted her chin up and said, "This will be our son. He will grow up to be the Prince of Aurora. This world. This world too." His red eyes glimmered at her. "It'll be our son?" she asked. He nodded and kissed her. Then one of the soldiers came in and said, "Sir, it's made." Leon looked at him and said, "Give me a few minutes." "Yes, sir," said the soldier. He walked out. "Get dressed, my love. I want you to see this." Then Abby got dressed and went to the lab. There we saw the purple and green ooze rolling around in the test tube. "Finally," he said with a smile. Then he yelled, "Bring the prisoner in." He shouted. Two large men carried a scrawny young man with blonde hair and bluish eyes, wearing camouflage pants and a black t-shirt. Then Leon said, looking with an evilly look, "You're going to pay for what you did not bring to my sister," he growled, and grabbed the syringe and jabbed it into his skin, releasing the ooze inside of it into him. The man screamed in pain. His muscles started to grow fast. Fur became quickly out of his skin, and last but not least, his eyes turned red. His muzzle finally grew out of his face. He roared and howled at the same time. My brother smiled and says, "Now I will call you Commander Stefan, the new breed of super soldier, the Arugamas." My brother said. Then soldiers cheered and chanted, "Hail Quentin Squad! Hail Quentin Squad!" over and over again. Well now, back to us. At the airport, 7 minutes before flight time. "Hurry!" I yelled as fast as we could, trying to get to the plane, no short amount of time. We gave the tickets to the carrier, and she said, "Enjoy the flight," she said, waving to us. "Thank you," we yelled as we got to the plane. Nearly 4 minutes before the flight started to leave, the captain of the flight said, "Attention passengers, the flight to Japan is on the way. Please remain seated and put your seatbelt on." The flight began to start. Then we were off. Then Haley asked, "Hey, did you guys hear about those stories about samurais who were protecting the ancient Japan from the evil clutches of evos? Can you believe that?" Chapter 7. Japanese dojos, even evos, and where's our bears? We made it to Japan. I never knew the ancient history if only Haley told me on the plane. Samurai's greatest of all warriors. Well, on Earth, that is. They're the only ones to defend Japan from the evil clutches of the ancient evils, created by the dark dragon's saliva. And I didn't even know they had saliva back then. I guess I didn't know about dragons. Then we got off the plane, right next into Dojo Island. I looked up at my cousin's dojo, like it was 1,000 steps. Then we started walking, and we were in the middle part of it anyway. 556, 557, 558. Ugh, Anna said tiredly. "Or how much more?" Cedric asked. Then I said, 442. "Let's get going to make camp tonight," I said. We set camp and we decided that me and Haley should go get some fish. I sniffed everywhere but fish, but I'm sniffed out. I can't smell any water, Haley moaned. "Shh," I shushed her, hearing something far in the mountain. "I can hear, like, a waterfall." Then Haley said, "Well, let's go see. If there's a waterfall down here, we can..." Yeah, I nodded. Then we walked down to the tall fields of grass, where we saw a lake or a waterfall coming down from the mountain. We saw a bunch of fish swimming in the lake. Haley and I looked at each other and said, "Jackpot!" We both yelled. We ran and jumped into the lake, and then we caught 70 fish, and we brought them back to the camp. 8 of us, 10 fish. About that. But we were soaked and wet by the time we were out of the fish. Man, Isabella said. That was so good, Jessica said. And Anna said, I didn't even know Carberoo can cook like that, Gerald said. And then Haley burped and said, you should cook this more often. I never knew you can cook. Then all of a sudden we heard a growl. We saw red eyes that came out of the weeds. It was a bearish creature. Had 6 handguns and 6 arms, which we didn't know what it was until I realized. It was the old ancient creature from Beartopia. And then Haley stand up and said, let's just hope they're not from the Quentin squad. Then Haley saw the big purple Q on its head. Oh, come on, she yelled. Then I yelled, call them Morphus of the Silver Moravian Wolf. Haley, everyone's eyes went to wolf eyes. Our DNA changed from humaniform to canine. Also of me, the DNA spliced and reconstructed each other back to normal. I was known as the wolf within. My claws came into place. My hands turned into paws, teeth sharpened to a point, tail, fur, and then my legs and the canine legs, and then my muscles like a wolf. Then, slowly, my muzzle came in. Then my transformation is complete. Hurry, guys, there's not much time, I said telepathy. I began to attack the bear. Right, they all fed firmly. Morphed into their wolves, started to attack the bear, and the bear's trigger was pulled. I got me in the arm, and I yelped for help. No! Haley yelled and threw in her wolf form and bit the wolf jaw into the gun and ripped it off the bear. Electrical wires hooked arm of the bear. Haley threw towards the tree quickly. Morphed back and yelled my name, but I couldn't hear her. Everything was blurry. Carberoo! Carberoo! Haley yelled. Then started to cry. Tears ran down her eyes. Then she felt anger and rage at the bears. Her eyes went black, pitch black, like a vampire's eye. Huge claws came out of her fingernails, sharper than ever, sharper than any wolf I ever seen. Roar! Haley screamed and growled at the same time, while her sharp teeth shone. She ran towards the bear, slashed her way until there was nothing more of them. And her claws retracted. Her eyes went back to normal. Her teeth slowly went back to normal. She was breathing heavily. Then Haley fainted. Jessica caught her before she hit the ground. Maybe it's time to go to sleep, Dishon said. I moaned, holding my shoulder. I was losing blood. Then Haley woke up instantly, then ran towards me. Then Haley grabbed a part of her old clothing, tore it off, and wrapped it on my shoulder. I moaned. Take the bullet. I can heal, remember? I yelled. Then she unwrapped the old cloth and took all the tweezers and pulled it. I yelled. Then my skin healed after taken out. Whoa. I don't remember this. I remember when I told you on the board, before we boarded the plane. Orions can heal themselves, I said, smiling and then chuckling. Haley looked at me and smiled. You goofball. She felt joy that I was alive still, which was good. Probably has a good trainer. Well, better get some sleep. If you wanted to go up these stairs in the morning, Haley ordered. We went to sleep. The next day, my friends and I went straight up the stairs. 998, 999, 1,000, I said, breathing exhaustively. Finally, Haley said with excitement, as she landed on the floor. Then we saw the door open. I was my cousin. There was some strength in me, so I ran up and hugged him. Then he saw me and smiled as soon as I grabbed him by both arms. And he started to hug me back. How'd you find me? He said, asking, giving me a nudge on the head. You haven't changed a bit, I said. Yes, I know. You haven't either, Zakharov said. Well, we're ready for your training? He asked. And the rest of my friends walked up and Dishon said, Good morning, sir. My cousin clapped his hands together and bowed. Welcome to my dojo. You have 24 hours to work, hard work. Now, who wants to be a wolf ninja of the shadows? Then, my friends and me, in a stern, firm voice, Yes, sir! We said, Good, my cousin said. Here are your new clothing and belts, Carbrew. Since you have taught you since you were little, I think you should wear this belt.
Thank you.
Ah.
They are here to play with you.
Oh.
You can do that at another time.
Okay. Alright. Okay, What?
You gonna get up, Bubba? Come on.
Boo.
You. Let's go.
Okay,
Come here, Alex.
let's see. Taught you since you were little. But why don't you wear this black belt? Remember? You wore it on your 5th birthday. And I taught you Kung Fu then. I told you where to go on Earth. Well, have you noticed I found my love of my life? And she knows a secret about us, he said, smiling. You've got to be kidding, I said joyfully. That's wonderful. My cousin nodded and showed us to the rooms. The bed was twice the size as my home planet. And the walls were great. On the wall was my great-great-grandfather's sword. The sword of leadership. Of the kingdom. I picked it up and saw the emerald gem on the bottom of the sword, intact, and I remember my father told me about the sword, and held to my handle, to my chest. I started crying. I was on my knees. Haley knocked at the door. Carbrew, may I come in? She asked, and then opened the door, saw me crying on the floor with knees. She ran toward me here, she told me, and said, Come here. She turned me around and hugged me. It's okay, she said. My great-grandfather's sword. I can't believe it, I said. Then I heard the gong rang for training. I wiped my tears away and said, Let's go, I said firmly. She nodded. We both ran out the door. We both had our ninja training uniforms on. And we're training in other stuff. For combat. We made it to the camp and training site. We sat down and the cousin came out. Right on the doorway. He had the darkest black belt of the Japanese kung fu gear ever wore. The 2 wraps on his hand, and peach skin. And his thin, black, straight hair is on a bandana. Then he said, Everyone ready? He asked. Yes, sir, we yelled. I need a volunteer, my cousin said. Carbrew, now's your chance. Then I stood up. I walked over to the other side of him. I bowed. Then we started our positions. He had the position of the snake. Mine was the tiger. Begin! He yelled. Then he started the jump kick. Before he could, I grabbed his foot, and in my hand I flipped him toward the ground. He got up and started punching me in the stomach, but then I got him in the hand. Ooh! My friend said, and there's a strange look on their face that I got hurt. Then my cousin grabbed his katana, and so did I. We blocked slices, and he blocked mine. It was never ending. Until I kicked him in the gut, dropping his sword. He started to cough. Well done, he said, panting. Then the gong rang for us to train. I had to verse Haley. Gerald and Dishon had to fight each other. Brothers. Fighting each other. Wow, I thought. And Jessica and Isabella had to fight each other. And so did the rest. Josh and Caitlin were fighting each other also. As soon as the gong rang, my cousin yelled, Begin! We began to fight. Haley and I were kicking and punching each other for hand-to-hand combat. Then, we had sword fight combat. In the next round, yeah! I kicked Haley and blew her back to the small tree, and she broke the small tree and stood up and shook her hand. We shook hands. Then, we grabbed our katana swords, and we began to fight. And Gerald and Dishon are never ending with their hand-to-hand combat. So is Gerald and Jessica and everybody else. Then, right as Haley and I were finished, Earth started shaking. Earthquake! Everyone, get inside! My cousin yelled. We ran inside and locked the door. What's going on? Jessica asked. and worry, evils. They have returned. Samu was right. He said they won't return for revenge, my cousin said. Who in the world is Samu? Haley asked. My former master. Before I became a kung fu master, my cousin explained. Where did he go? Isn't this supposed to be his dojo for, forever? I mean, isn't this his dojo? I asked. My cousin nodded. He died in battling with these things. I believe they killed him and the rest of the people that he was training. The evils escaped before I could handle them. He called me over to him. He was in distress, young one, he said. You look like after my dojo. People make sure they know everything about these things. Here, I will give you the knowledge of these things. Then he put his thumb into my forehead. His began to glow. For 45 seconds. It lasted. Then he died in my arms, he said, finished. So, what now? Can't we defeat these things after all? You have the knowledge to defeat them, Haley said. I'll go. I'll have to. I'm the leader after all, I said. Then Haley looked over at me and said, we'll all go together. After all, we gotta kick Quentin Squad's ass anyway, she said, giving me a nuggie. Then, my cousin said, be careful. They can possess anybody. And you try to kill all people you know. He said, aren't you coming too? I asked. Yes, but for a little while, he said, unlocking the door. We all ran to this infested place. There were evos everywhere, crawling and squiggling through everything. But I didn't even notice one evo was crying up to me. Then Haley yelled, Carver, look out! I looked down at the popped up and it started going into my eyes, nose, and mouth. I made a morph into my wolf. This time, my eyes were reddish, not golden yellow color. Hey, Mom.
Thank you.
Ooh, got it. Thank you. Okay, hey, look out. Okay, made a golden yellow color. My friend looked at me in shock. My cousin was not kidding about being possessed. I growled at them. Haley quickly morphed into her wolf, an Arctic white wolf, and said in telepathy, Go, I'll be fine, she said. Then the rest ran over to the evil and started get slicing. Carbrew, you've got to remember, this is not you, she said. Then I had in my brain, almost controlled, saying telepathy, Who cares? I feel alive. This is my body. Then Haley said, Get out of there. Not before I scratch you and make you come out. She growled, gnarling her teeth at me. Then I said, without noticing, Fine, I will. Then the evil came out of my nose and mouth and started turning me back to normal. I morphed back to my original state. Then I fainted, but right before I could hit the ground, Haley morphed herself really quickly and caught me. Gotcha! Just hang in there, Haley said. The rest of them came back. We defeated them all. What now? They said out of breath. Well, we had to take Carver back to New York, Haley said. They all watched the walkie-talkie ringing and picked up and answered, Yeah, Jiraki, what's up? Then Jiraki on the other line, Guys, we have problems. In the 2 days, Quentin Squad are going to attack the Gamma Star they just rebuilt. But we need a plan. Somebody's birthday between you and me. We gotta be careful on what we're planning. What we spend, okay? Jiraki said, heading towards Haley. Yeah, I know, Haley said, smiling. Looked at me. Until the day we got to my birthday. It was tomorrow. I woke up midnight, and then I woke up Dishon saying, Dishon, you awake? Then he said, Yeah, what's up? He asked calmly. I'm just really excited for my birthday. I can't sleep, I said. He sighed. Well, we'll see what you get tomorrow. I mean, you need to get some sleep. I mean, just go to sleep. Good night. Then he fell back asleep, and I fell asleep and waited for tomorrow. Then All of a sudden, I had a dream of my father looking at me. I didn't know it was the spirit world. I looked over. The rest of my squad and Haley were asleep. How? I mumbled to myself. I got up. I looked around, straight at my father. I couldn't believe it. It was him. He was the one that was hugging me. Tears began rolling down my eyes. Father, I said, crying at the same time. I know, sweetheart. I know. My father said, calmly, but I brought somebody. My father said, looking at his side, Sweetheart. I heard my sweet mother's voice. Mom, I cried. So much. So hard and hugged her. She shushed me and brushed my blonde hair. It's okay, sweetheart. I know. Let it all out, I said. Why did you have to go? I said, crying so hard. It's part of life, my child. I'm sorry I had to leave you, my mother said, hugging me. The reason why I brought you here, my love, sweetheart, is because the bloodline of the king is near you and your home. And to you and me, we have a spell cast in our hand, mates, my mother said. Who? I asked. Haley, your friend. We cured her in 2023. Her father's Royan, and her mother is human. Remember I told you the story of the Great Migration? My father and mother said, Yeah, Mom, I heard it 1,000 times. My brother wanted to hear it so much. Here we go. Oh, hello. I want to hear so much, I said with laughter. I will love you, Ma and Dad. I'll never forget you, I said with tears still going down my eyes. Then they disappeared and went back to my body. Then, rumbling came noise till my friends were still asleep. I gotta find out why my brother's doing this, I said. Then I closed my eyes and went to a deep slumber or sleep. Chapter 8, The Surprise Party and the Promise. I woke up around noon. Everyone was gone. I got my super morphing suit on and put my regular clothes over it. It was dark in the room. I turned it on, and then, surprise! Everyone yelled, Happy birthday, Garbrew. Haley said, holding the camera and smiling. Thanks, guys. How did you plan this out? Then Jessica said, from the very beginning, when Haley and I promised when you turned 18, we'll give you a surprise party. Then I said, pointing at the camera, Are you recording this, Haley? Yes, she responded, laughing. Well, I guess my parents called Jiraki and they said they were moving to New York. Well, I think you might be. Libby will live here for the first time. Jiraki said, held the camera while when Haley would get the cake. It was dark chocolate lava cake. I tried it when I was little. But I never tried the human form one, though. Oh, my gosh, I said excitedly. Make a wish, she said. Then, right before I blew out the candles, my head started to pound. I said. I groaned. Carbrew. Haley said, putting the cake down. Before she could touch me, her head started to pound also. Both of us felt very weird feelings. We held our heads. Our eyes turned white. Then, the Aurorian god, my god, Dogroth appeared. Carbrew. Haley. You have been chosen by me to take into the darkness, hand over heart. What do you mean? Haley asked. I'm only half Aurorian. Her voice echoed through the dark light. I know, Dogroth said. But you will be trained. Carbrew Namari Maria Aurora. I knew he spoke my full name. Yes, I said, bowing to him. Train her. For all the Aurorians, they need her. Your father will be proud, but he's not fully dead. He's alive on Earth. If you need to find him, pray to me, Dogroth said, then leaving with the echo behind. We left the vision. We groaned. Oh, you guys okay? Gerald asked. Yeah. We're fine, we just had a vision, Haley said, smiling. Yeah. A long one, I said, agreeing. Then Haley. After I made a wish, Father said father again. Then we ate the cake, which was really good. Haley brought the present that was the debit gift card with a lot of money in it. Then Jessica gave me human clothing, which I knew I wanted to get some. There's a lot of guns and ammunition from Gerald and Dishon. Then Kayla brought me a Bible, she calls it, and Isabella gave me a coat for the winter. After all, I was there the whole winter. And then, out of the coat of the spring, and the coat for the spring too. Then, Jiraki gave me a chemistry set. Right before I could open Josh's gift, the earth started shaking again. Crap! I yelled. What day is it? Haley asked as she was shaken up still. The earth stopped shaking. It's been 2 days. At midnight tonight, they're going to blow up the Gamma Center. This will be no more. I said, I knew my brother wouldn't do this for people of Earth. I had to stop him and cure him. Haley, it is time. Make the orange shot good now, I said. Are you sure about this, Carbro? I mean, it's been years. What if you if you insist? Me and Jiraki will take it to the lab, Haley said, sighing. Then I said, all right. I looked at Jiraki. Take me there. We walked to the lab and I saw blood bags everywhere. Ooh. Then, ew, Haley said with a green face. Then I sat down in the chair. Haley wrapped a rubber band around my arm tightly. Then Jiraki put a needle into my arm. Blood was coming out of the bottle. Then Haley fainted, just for looking at the faintness in her eyes. After he was done, he took the needle out of me and put the blood and some hydropine and mixed it up. Then the shot color was blue. Now it was time to get ourselves ready for the big battle between us, the Quentin squad, and the final showdown. Who will win? Who will lose? And who will run through the forest and meet on the top of the hill? Quentin squad was down there putting purple bombs in the Gamma Center that was really built. Then I heard something in the voice saying, it is time, Carbro. Time for your brother to be cured. Remember Dogroth will be always with you always. Train Haley, as well as she is the bloodline of the king's spellcasters. Then I thought, what does he mean by princess too? She was born first or last. I looked over at Haley and she looked at me and said, what, something is wrong? Yeah. In the vision, you are my bloodline. What? She whispered in shock. I'm a princess too? No, better. I said, a spellcaster like me. Haley smiled and said, let's get to work. We looked down at the Gamma Center. There was Quentin, but there's no sign of Abby. Did you bring those shots?
Done with breakfast. So
Okay.
are you gonna?
Yeah,
keep reading?
I'm gonna eat this.
I know,
I'm gonna keep reading. Don't worry.
but they're gonna come in here and play.
Okay, that's fine. I only have one chapter to go. Smiling, let's get to work. We looked down at the Gamma Center. There was Quentin, but there's no sign of Abby. Did you bring the shots? I whispered. Yeah, 2 for your brother and Abby. Haley whispered back. Alright, guys. That will be it for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode of Blood Fusion. And I hope you guys enjoyed this series. And we have a couple more chapters to go to. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed the actual really good content I've been working on. So I hope you guys see you all later. And like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys all later. Peace out. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you'd like more, leave down in the description in the comments what you think about it. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate it a ton. And I hope you'll be able to see us all in another brand new episode of both either book or a vlog. So, yeah. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.